welcome back to HighPriest Reacts to RWBY, Volume 5, Chapter 4, Lighting the Fire. Right, okay. I don't want to cover anything from the last episode. I mean, aside from the fact that, now that's something I'll cover in the redirect video. I record last week's redirect video after recording this, because it involves messing with my setup more. But, no, not much, besides the fact I'm once again reiterating that while I find the idea of Sierra Khan not having... think that Sierra Khan would be an idiot not to have her aura activated, I find the idea of her having it active and still being killed in one shot even dumber. Because it implies that... Well, actually, it doesn't imply anything because it still makes no sense. But, anyways, let's actually get to the episode now. Hopefully with Sloppy Gang, considering the thumbnail. Oh my god, the foliage. The foliage looks so good. Oh hey, it's
how much further?
Slimy shithole.
This should just about do it. You wait here. I'll go up ahead and make sure the coast is clear.
It's a trap. Oh, hey, we might finally get to see the new arms in action. Oh, hey, surprise, surprise, it was a trap.
I can't believe you were dumb enough to let me lead you here.
Is this everyone?
This is it.
Well,
unless you count the whole rest of the camp back that way.
That way.
She just she's gonna kick all her asses and just head in anyways.
Now to pay me back for this tooth, we're gonna take your bike, and you're gonna take your lumps.
Some people theorize he might have recognized a bit of Raven in her where eyes flashed red. Clearly not. Because if he did, he wouldn't be stupid enough to try this shit.
You got the jump on me last time, sweetheart. You really ought to think twice about fighting all...
Yep, right. That's gone into her cyborg arm. Well, it makes sense, but lots of people were just expecting 2 Ember Silicas. Not me. But I didn't know how she was gonna do it. I was hoping for more like hand shifting into the gun, but okay. Oh, they have gone so much better at the action this volume. Oh man, we can clearly tell who these people are the true muscle of the group. And she still got the shakes.
Who are you? It doesn't even matter. When Raven finds out what you did, you're dead.
Possibly, but I doubt it. I'm her daughter, after all.
And there's the dawning realization. Yep.
Man, Oz wasn't kidding. Oscar's picking up on this stuff fast.
My gosh,
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Yes, I did it. Oscar.
Ah.
Your aura again.
Why didn't you tell me?
Been too long since we have
Because this
really
method
happy
makes you less
Ruby.
likely to forget. Mind if I give it a shot?
Not bad, Miss Rose. But
What did
Oscar
he
doesn't
say
have
about
the years
aura?
of training that you do, or I do.
Oh.
Oh, well, maybe we should take a break.
She knows she's gonna get her ass kicked. Okay. So, I believe that pretty much confirms that yes, you can bring your aura manually up. Wonderful. I don't get it. It makes no
The next time
sense
you want to throw a left cross,
to have it be that way from everything I've seen.
And as always,
Because-
be aware of any openings.
Got it.
A lot of times, because that would imply that the characters, when they were going into combat, would have to keep their aura active all the time.
This is so exhausting.
Your body isn't used to this kind of training. Not to mention generating a defensive aura on your own. It takes intense concentration at first, but in time it will become second nature, allowing you to deflect attacks and gradually heal your wounds. After that, you can begin focusing on your semblance.
Okay.
Whatever that may be.
Okay, I get it now. Never mind, it makes more. This makes actually
Your
sense.
very own superpower.
It doesn't start off
That way.
passive,
Just
but it
matter of
becomes
finding and
passive.
mastering it. Ruby moves super fast. Electricity makes me stronger. Ren can mask emotions, and John can
I can't do anything.
John's like you. He hasn't found his semblance yet, but we all know he will. And you will
Hopefully this
too.
volume.
We all just have to try and help each other get stronger.
But yeah.
Cool. A common philosophy is that a warrior's semblance is a part of who they are. Some say your personality and character can define your semblance, while some claim that it's the other way around. Of course, there are still many who don't see a connection at all.
It's hard to know when you know sometimes. Ren's semblance was unlocked from intense stress. And mine kicked in during training one day.
What about you?
Oh, struck by lightning, didn't die. See you Thursday.
God,
I just don't understand what's wrong
God
with me.
damn it, Nora.
I train, I meditate.
I should have realized what it's something like that.
Don't worry, Mr. Ark. Your journey is far from over. And the same might be said for all of you. Unlocking your semblance isn't the end. It can
But
still
okay,
be
so if I can gather,
providing you're willing to put in the work.
your aura,
who
it
knows what could happen.
eventually becomes positive. So,
Then let's get back to it.
problem talking. It doesn't actually require any power to do. It just requires concentration at first, and eventually, once your body and mind are used to it, it's passive. That's kind of inconsistent to what we saw with John, but, well, we also know that John wasn't exactly normal in how that went about. Word of God is the way Fear unlocked his aura not normal. So, right when Yang shows up, she makes her escape attempt. She having it cut through the bars. Oh, ooh, fancy setup. Okay, I'm actually really curious. What is with the fucking mask? I mean, there's a very good reason people thought she was, what was it?
Yang. So, after all this time, you finally decided to visit me. You know that I searched for you. I spent years looking for you. And you found me. You were patient, determined, and strong enough to make your dream a reality. Well done, Yang. Why did you have to be so rough with my men?
I didn't want a fight. They started it.
Well, you certainly finished it.
Oh, that's... Everything to do with Raven's
Right.
actions right now feels
I'm sure
slimy
this is all
as
very
fuck. Ugh.
overwhelming, but I must admit that you've proven yourself.
Like, she seems
So
to
any
be
questions you have,
sincere in the way
you
she's
can answer.
acting, but she's
You
still
can stay with us tonight.
absolutely terrible.
I'll even have the
Cunty
clerks
mother.
whip up something for
What
you.
the
That's
hell?
not why I'm here.
What was that? I'm not here for you. Ruby is somewhere in Mistral. She's with Crow and she's going to need my help.
God damn
I
it.
just need you
People
to
write
take
that
her.
it was a fake, double fake
And
out.
why
Son of a
would I
bitch.
do that? Because we're family. Family. Only coming around when they need something. I have to say, I'm disappointed. After all, you found me, didn't you? Why not take that drive and use it to find your little sister if she really means that much to you? Because you're going to save me time. Ruby was heading to Mistral, but there's no guarantee she's made it there. Looking for her in Anima could take ages. But Dad told me how your semblance works.
Alright.
You could bond to certain people. And when you do, you could create a portal that takes you straight to them.
So that's how that works.
One for me, and you've got one for Crow. He promised me he'd watch out for Ruby before he
That's
left,
clever.
and I trust him. So, make a portal to my uncle and sister, and I'll be on my way. You know, it takes real strength to march in here and demand such a favor of me. I've got to say, I'm impressed. It's very noble to want to help out your sister. But if she's with Crow, then she's already a lost cause. What does that mean? You don't want to get mixed up in all of that, Yang. Ozpin is not the man you think he is.
Oh, don't
And
give
Crow
me
is a
try to
fool for
pretend to
trusting
be
him.
anyone a good guy.
I would know. I trusted him once too.
I don't care what you think.
Your choice is your own. All I'm suggesting is that instead of getting wrapped up in something too big for you, for any of us, that maybe you
Too
take a moment
big?
to
Oh
look
yes,
at
the
what you're
continued
doing.
survival of every
Save
living
your breath.
being on the planet. It's
start
truly
off whatever you
too
want.
big.
But nothing is going to keep me from my sister.
Oh, aren't you stubborn?
I get it from my mom.
Well, if that's how you feel, then it sounds like we're done here. Take her away.
Did you not hear me?
Oh. She's actually on a third line.
Send me to Crow, damn it!
That's enough! You watch your mouth in front of our leader!
Make me.
Yeah, that's Yang for you. Oh!
Yang? Weiss?
Yes.
All right, well, subtlety is out.
Alright, well, subtlety is out. Yeah, that about sums her up. Yeah, that had no hope of holding her. I didn't even realize that was made of fucking wood. At least some of it was. It looked like some of those parts were wood.
Don't worry about it. What are you doing here? Well, that's my mom, and she could take us to Ruby. Your mom kidnapped me? You kidnapped her?
Ah, that's great. And that would be Spring.
Thank you. If you people
Her
don't keep
attack
it
dog.
together, this place will be crawling with Grim. Give the girl her weapon back. You two, in my tent. Now.
Why?
If you're really going after your sister, then you need to know the truth.
or your version of the truth. I realize a lot of people don't trust Osmond, but quite frankly...
Sorry about...
Aww.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too.
The teary reunion rewanted. Oh, it's gonna take that over! Oh. So it was mostly, well, it was metal, just bit metal, and even before then. But, oh, this episode. Tearful reunion, nice action sequence, character development, promises of more future exposition, a very satisfying punch. Ah, so much. That slimy feeling when Raven tried to act even remotely like she cared. Oh, I suppose she does care. It's just in her own warped, twisted, inhuman way. Yeah, no, everything this woman says and does makes her out to be a massive, horrible person. The truth will probably be something that makes our Austin work bad. Yeah, probably something on par with what the more stupid parts of the fandom come up with. You know, like the Harry Potter and Naruto fandoms do for the third Hokage and Dumbledore. That'll be fun misinterpretations when it happens. For some reason I was expecting that to take longer with Splice and Yang, but that's nice. I enjoyed that training sequence, and Ruby having, and just general Ruby moments, like, well, her being just giddy. Because the girl needs every happy moment she can get this season. Hold on. After last season, just because, woo boy! How long was this episode? Only 15 minutes? Wow, that's... What the heck just happened? Okay, I have no idea why that just unfocused like that. I have no idea how to fix that either. Keep it from doing that. Okay, yeah. Saying her like, maybe not was hilarious. And, see, this still makes more, what we got here still makes more sense in the base fan theory people talked about. Because even though this is true, and you do have to activate your aura to use it, well, let's just poke at all those events, some of the events people use to back up. Roman is experienced. He might not know what his semblance is, but he's been doing this long enough to know that something could go wrong. That something could go wrong. So, why would he have his aura inactive during that thing? And it's clear from the way that the way it was phrased, that as long as you've done it, been trained long enough, it's something you can maintain with ease. It means you're not protected in your sleep, that you're not protected 24/7, of course, when you're unconscious, which does explain the whole Neil stabbing scene. But, on the other hand, see, the big thing way it was, the other people were trying to present it is that, and even the way it appears now, is it having an on-off switch didn't make sense to me, especially with the way most people tried to word the theory, and that is that because, the way they and everyone else presented the theory before this was that it would be something you'd have to concentrate to do, which would make it useless during high combat. You stop concentrating for a second, and then your aura goes down. As shown with Oscar. He stops concentrating via Osmond, and then he collapses aura down. That would be useless in combat if everyone had to do it. But the idea that after enough training, it becomes basically passive, that as long as you're conscious, it's just something that you've got running in the back of your mind without even paying a second of thought. Now I just go to how long it takes someone to go up, get their aura back up when they wake up. Because as noted, unless they've been really trained, like I could see Osmond doing it, I doubt they could keep it running in the back of their mind even when asleep. See, I'm always interested in more world building in this show. Lots of people are, but this throws off a lot of people's idea of how aura works, but it also throws off other people's ideas of how aura works. Because, once again, like the great flaming turtle, he always presented it, a fanfiction writer. He writes good fanfiction, I just didn't agree with the way he was presenting it. With an idea. But as I realized, it's not the idea I had a problem with. It was the way it was presented. Here, it makes perfect sense. You actually have to train to get it to be a passive effect, and even then, it's only passive when you're awake. Suddenly, makes perfect sense. The, Flaming Turkey is a joking nickname. I believe he also goes by Flaming Chicken. I forgot what his name is, but he's written some very good crossovers, like a Metro The Last Light crossover with RWBY. I know it seems weird, but it's really good. If only because of the glorious scene of Amber smiting Cinder. A fully re-empowered Amber smiting Cinder. That was a great scene to read after V3. Really fun. But, yeah. That was a fan theory I always had a problem with. And heck, it even doesn't change what I said at the start of the episode. That if Sierra Khan had access to her the ability to use aura, she would have brought it up in that moment. It wouldn't have broken in one hit. Which means either she never had it active, had it only recently acted, and even then we would have seen an effect from it being hit and breaking in an instant. Like, we know, hell, we see right there, it takes a moment's notice to bring your aura up. With when Osmond took control. The only time delay there was the time it took for Osmond to take control. So, once you're experienced, it takes a moment's notice. She should not have been caught unaware if she had an active aura. And because it's, eventually trying to play passive, no, you can't just snipe someone randomly and expect it to work. I enjoyed all those moments with Team Ranger, but I think my favorite moment in the episode And this season, really, had to be the reunion of Weiss and Yang. Just that hug. Like, both of those girls needed that bad. I cannot wait for the reunion of them and Ruby. And even better, the reunion of them and Blake. Which will probably come at the end of at least not the end of the season, about mostly through it. Some people have, which reminds me, if you don't know, some people have put together the fact that the time between the start of Haven's school year and the episode where Leo, I was not having trouble saying his name, Leo said it was different from the net number given by Gira. That means that it's highly likely the Menagerie plotline, the Blake plotline, is taking place before all this. Which does give Blake plenty of time to meet up with the group again. Before the season's out. And that's a reunion I want to see. Mostly between Blake and Yang. Also, I'm very happy with Yang here. I am so very happy that she's perfectly willing to toss all this aside to find Ruby. And that's really clever. And I really like that we finally know what that goddamn portal thing was. And, oh, I'm gushing. I am gushing. I love this show. Much like Penny just suddenly became I one day just realized Penny had been my favorite character for a while. This show had become my favorite show, and I hadn't even noticed it. Like, someone asked, is Ruby your favorite show in a forum? I was like, I wouldn't say that. Would I? Yeah, I just, like, I hadn't even realized it, and, this hair is very hard to tame. Yeah. There we go. Looks better. But, oh, this is a great episode. Just fantastic. I just love the moment when Weiss goes, so much for subtlety. And, yeah. As much as I felt just reviled at Raven during this episode, I honestly do wonder how she's going to frame Osmond as the worst villain ever. Well, no. I'll have to give her some point. She's probably not as bad as most of the idiots in the fandom I mentioned earlier. She'll paint him as bad as Salem, but not actually try to paint Salem as the Wooby who was a good guy all along. Harry Potter fandom. Near me, there was something stuck in my throat. But yeah, this was stuff we'd been wanting all since really last season. The reunion of characters. And I just can't wait for Ruby to have her team back. And of course, most importantly, I want to see Ruby and Blake interact more. Not just because I'm a Ladybug shipper. My OTP is nuts and adults, but I can ship Ladybug too. And Rose Garden. That's what Oscar and Ruby's called, right? I mean, they're all still bad. They're all bad. Those other two are vastly preferable to Lancaster and White Rose. Yeah, I like taking pot shots at shipping. I'm not really that much of a serious shipper. Jokes aside, as long as the story is good, I can read stuff. Or fan art's good, I can deal with. Lancaster or White Rose. I'd still vastly prefer Nuts and Bolts, Ladybug, Rose Garden, especially Nuts and Bolts. But I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, I don't think I have much to say outside of what I was trying to say in the episode when I finished. The whole thing about Aura. It actually makes sense as long as you remember to account for the fact that it becomes eventually a passive-ish effect. And it makes John stand out even more as all the frickin' weirder. It also doesn't, but while it makes some sense in the later volumes, I do think it clashes a bit with Volume 1 and 2. Now, some people might claim this is them changing things for Monty. Could be. Personally, I think it's just another side effect of Volume 1 and 2 being held back massively in the storytelling department, and the world building department, and that department, he just named it. Those 2 seasons were kind of shafted. Volume 1 especially. I mean, it's why the seasons were spread out like they were. Volume 1, 2, and 3 were all supposed to be one season, with Volume 1 being the first half, and Volume 2 and 3, originally just Volume 2, being the second half. But they got a higher budget to do Volume 2 better. They decided that the latter half of Volume 2 worked better as its own thing. Ironically, in some ways, I think keeping it to that would have eliminated some of the complaints to RWBY. But that's the thing, when it came to Volume 1 and 2, they were firmly an amateur project. They might have been professionally funded, professionally supported, but they were an amateur project in truth. Volume 3 is the season where I say they finally got enough stuff and funding and stuff to really be considered a professional studio. But with the loss of Monty and Shane's breakdown, and all those other things, I have trouble really calling it a professional season. That's why I generally just say Volume 4 and now 5 are the first truly professionally done seasons of RWBY. That's why I can understand why there's some storytelling inconsistencies here and there. I know at least a few people who probably would claim it as a retcon, but well, let's see, outside of that. Well, there is one thing. RWBY Combat Ready. I am, unfortunately, not a backer of that. As I've said before, my computer has tons of problems due to just the fact that it's old, really outdated, and just does not have a strong enough CPU to really do this stuff well. So, in order to upgrade my setup, I have to save money. I wanted to be a supporter of that game and get a couple of the add-ons too. But I couldn't, which is a pity. I really wanted that little penny figure. I mean, I'll buy the game later, and heck, I might even try to see if it's possible to play it on camera, because it's supposed to be at least somewhat playable as single player. You might want to give that a try. And I figure if I'm going to do that, might as well do it in front of you guys. But, yeah, that's basically the only other thing RWBY related I had to talk about. This bit, yeah. I will cover this much, though. I said I was going to say this was a redirect, but as I mentioned, but I think I'll mention it. Basically, here, as a bit of a redundancy, basically, it seems like a lot of people are being fucked over by a combination of YouTube's terrible copyright bought. And RT's not so great shift in policy towards copyright. And yes, RT is lame. Yes, Rooster Teeth LLC is Rooster Teeth. I understand some people don't get this, but it is. Rooster Teeth LLC is Rooster Teeth. They literally have that company name listed as theirs under their site in the fan project section. They tell you to put something in the description of the videos you make or a project you make and such. And it has Rooster Teeth LLC. So yes, that really is Rooster Teeth smacking people's videos down. And yes, there's actually a blog post where they mention changing it from the standard copyright claim to copyright block. It's still not a strike, which, thank God, my channel would probably be down now while my attempts to circumvent it. And my continued repost of the video to see, oh, will it go up now? No. And for a lot of people, disputing just isn't working. From what I can tell. You have to actually go to Rooster Teeth and, well, as I said in the redirect, I'm not doing that every freaking week for 14 weeks, and then again for how many weeks of Chibi? Followed by another season of RWBY. I'm just going to post a redirect. I'll try posting the video straight to YouTube. If it gets blocked, I'll take it down, record a redirect, post it up, like I'm going to do later. And yeah. Okay, so I think I've wasted enough time. If you enjoyed this video, then please, really, support the official release. HighPriest signing out, and I'll see you all next time.